Hard media like pastels, Conte, charcoal, and pencils have a dry appearance that respond well to the texture of the substrate you're drawing on. The grain property controls how much a brush is affected by the surface texture, so nearly all of these brushes will use grain. They may also have pen pressure expressions enabled to allow you to press harder or lighter, which in turn controls how much of the grain is covered in a stroke. First up is chalk. All of these variants are using paper grain to achieve a rough, dry look. Some variants even use captured dabs to create a more randomized brush shape. Chalk brushes work really well for adding texture to objects in your painting. I'll select the fat chalk brush with the contrasty random cracks paper. As you can see, I can vary my pen pressure to create a cracked effect with different levels of opacity. You can get a wide range of looks out of a brush just by changing the paper grain properties. Let's explore what's inside the pastels category. If I select soft chunky, change my paper texture to sandy pastel paper, and I make a mark, it looks like pastel. As in the chalk category, many of these variants are using captured dabs and grain to achieve a dry, rough stroke. However, there are several variants that can create an oily blending effect. Aside from the oily pastels, you wouldn't be able to tell a pastel brush from a chalk brush. So just like the opaque paint brushes, such as oils and acrylics, hard media brushes can be used interchangeably as well. The grain properties can also imply a certain type of brush media. For example, if I scale the grain a bit larger, the marks might start to look more like chalk. If I make the grain finer, then it might start to look more like pastel. Charcoal is yet another category of brushes that can utilize captured dabs and grain. You'd be hard-pressed to spot any difference between these and the chalk or pastel variants. Same goes for Conte, which is a type of crayon. While these hard media brushes look very similar to each other, the differences really come down to the feel and behavior of the brushes. For example, how they blend, cover underlying layers, or respond to pen pressure. Several of the hard media variants can respond to pen tilt and bearing to allow you to shade with the side of your media as well as the tip. For example, the variable variant in the Conte category becomes much wider when I tilt my pen. We'll give pencils a try next. Pencils are really just more grainy brushes, but at a much finer diameter and without as many captured dabs. Let's scroll down a bit and choose the soft 2B pencil, along with a dark gray color. Like the variable brush we looked at earlier, you can draw with the pencil upright to get a thin point, or you can tilt your pencil, which elongates the dab, allowing you to emulate shading with the side of the pencil. Let's try the mechanical pencil next. This pencil variant is not as dynamic as the previous variant, but it does create a consistent line width. As with traditional pencils, each of these variants have a different feel. You can emulate different types of graphite pencils, or you can use the oily or greasy colored pencils.